Hello and welcome to another edition of Pop Culture Graveyard. This will probably be the very last episode coming to you from the nerve center of our cross-country move. We are almost completely packed. We will be taking off on our cross-country move soon, but before we do, I have to DJ a party. I'm spinning a record release party here in Los Angeles. The album is released by a comedian, Andre Dubochet, and it's on a Friday night at Club TG. So I thought I'd share with you guys how I select and pack my records for a DJ set. First, a little bit about what kind of DJ I am. I am vinyl only. Doesn't matter to me what you use to spin if you're out and you're a DJ. I don't shit on other people's formats. But to me, the thing that makes DJing fun is spinning vinyl. I am currently retired from DJing, but I come out for certain special events, and this is one of them. The genres that I spin, mostly, depending on the club and the crowd, include punk, new wave, hard rock, reggae, and hip-hop, mostly from the 70s through the 90s. That's mostly my niche, but I spin later stuff as well. So please join me as I pack my records for a DJ set. Before we get rolling, I just want to thank my newest patron. Thank you, G. James. From Hollis James to G. James. It's a G thing, baby, and I'm very grateful. If you're enjoying the content I'm bringing you and would like to support the show, please consider joining my Patreon at patreon.com/popculturegraveyard. And thanks. All right, here we are. I have a number of DJ cases that you probably can't see, but this is one of them. Each one of these holds somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 records or so. And I'm just going to get started picking out some stuff that I want to play. I'm definitely going to be bringing Marquee Moon with me. I See No Evil. I can play that early in the set. Later on, I may want my last song that I play to be Marquee Moon. I don't know, but that's like a really cool way to end the set. But no matter which way I go, you really can't go wrong with Marquee Moon. Pretenders and Smithereens just jumped out at me. I love the weight on this. I love Mystery Achievement. Mystery Achievement is one of my DJ bathroom songs. It is a very long song, and I have time to go run to the bathroom, come back, and not miss anything. But The Weight and Precious and Tattooed Love Boys, they're all good. And so I'm going to continue the rock thing. And the Smithereens, Blood and Roses, Behind the Wall of Sleep, and Strangers When We Meet are three songs that I can definitely fit into a rock set. Lou Reed, Transformer. I love playing the song I'm Free. That's something that would go good with any of the records I already threw in there. So I think I'm going to throw this in there. Between Vicious, Walk on the Wild Side, and I'm So Free, more so than any of the other songs on it, I think I can really make a case for mixing Lou in with those other things. Oh yeah. Love My Way. I really want to hear that by the Psych Furs. I love that song. It's one of my favorites. This is Forever Now. I believe it's the British cover of Forever Now. The American, I believe, is Purple. And I'm totally going to play that at the party, which makes me feel like I want to segue into some 80s. Boomtown Rats. I really love this album. I feel it's their best. A Tonic for the Troops. It's got songs like Rat Trap, I Never Loved David Braun, Living in an Island, Like Clockwork, Mary of the Fourth Form, She's So Modern. These are all great songs. My favorite songs on the album, though, are Living in an Island and Like Clockwork. I love both of those, and they're totally going to be great in a new wave set. Polyrock. This is a promo release of their single, Romantic Me. It's a great song, and one of the most underrated new wave songs ever. Speaking of underrated new wave, Cut You Up off of this album Deep by Peter Murphy. It's really one of my favorite tracks from the 80s, and I think it'll go really well in this set. Let me just adjust the camera a little better. That's probably a better camera angle. Ooh. Berlin, Pleasure Victim. The song The Metro is one of my all-time favorite new wave songs. So I'm going to need Berlin. Actually, it would go really well with Whammy, as well as Song for a Future Generation off this. But it made me think, you know what would go great with Berlin is Missing Persons. I love Destination Unknown, Walking in LA, Ain't None of Your Business. This has so many great songs on it, and it'd go great with Berlin. And of course, Whammy by the B-52s. Romeo Void, I could either go A Girl in Trouble Is a Temporary Thing or Never Say Never, one of those two, which I love. So the 80s, I'm going to stay on the 80s jag for a while, which means The Cure. If you don't know Happily Ever After, it's really great. It combines Three Imaginary Boys and Faith, those two records. So it's a double album. I like playing A Forest, or the song M, the song Primary, or Pray for Today. Those are some great ones that'll fit in any 80s set. Now, if you know me at all, you know I love Adam and the Ants. Prince Charming, Stand and Deliver, Pablo Picasso Visits the Planet of the Apes. That is a great album. And the Ants are wildly, wildly underrated. Speaking of underrated, The Cult, Electric. This is a great album. Wildflower is my favorite track off of this one. And that's a really great rock track. And the Ants are actually a great segue from the new wave back into the rock. So I'm going to need some Cult. The Game by Queen. I love this album. I think it's wildly underrated in Queen's discography. It of course has Another One Bites the Dust. It has Don't Try Suicide. It has Crazy Little Thing Called Love. But I love it for Dragon Attack. And that's what I'm going to play probably before or after The Cult. I'm going to need The Sweet, Desolation Boulevard. The song No You Don't is a killer off of this. I'm going to take Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic. I also have Rocks Here Somewhere. You know that's coming with me. Some Girls by the Stones. I could be playing a few songs off this album, but one I will definitely be playing is Shattered. It's probably a top 5 Rolling Stones song for me. Ooh. Replacements, Pleased to Meet Me. I'm definitely going to play Alex Chilton. It's my favorite Replacement song, but I'll also play Can't Hardly Wait. It's got a breakdown where there's just silence, and when I'm DJing, sometimes I'll cut out of the song into something else, and sometimes I just let it play. I'll see what mood I'm in. The Stooges, Declaration of War, Best of the Funhouse Sessions. Before the CD Best of the Funhouse came out, there was this bootleg that came out. I think it's Italian or something. Anyway, it's got TVI, Down on the Street, Loose, Dirt. It's a really great sounding record. And I think I'm going to play TVI off of this. I absolutely love it. Violent Femmes. I got to bring the Violent Femmes. One of my favorite songs to play at a party is Promise. I love the song Promise. It's got the best electric guitar tone of any Violent Femmes song. I also love Please Do Not Go. That's always a sweet, fun song that's kind of upbeat, and it's got killer bass, but I'm really partial to Promise off of this. You know what? This is my only time I'm going to be DJing in LA before moving home, so I'm going to spin some LA bands. I'm going to do Bad Religion. I'm going to do The Plugs. I absolutely adore The Plugs. Check out the song In the Wait and Electrify Me. I'm aching to break your heart. The title track, Better Luck. This is just a fantastic album. And, you know, LA Born. And of course, X, Under the Big Black Sun. I'm going to be bringing a few X albums with me, but Under the Big Black Sun I feel is really underrated. I like Riding with Mary. I like Hungry Wolf. But one song I'm definitely going to play is Blue Spark. It's my favorite track on this album. Speaking of LA, the American Buzzcocks, Descendants, Summary. This is a double disc of previously released material. Silly Girl, Clean Sheets, Sour Grapes, My Edge, Bike Edge, Cheer, Hope. There is no let up. This is a fantastic comp. And I said they're the American Buzzcocks, so I guess I better bring the real Buzzcocks. Incidentally, a little DJ trick. The song What Do I Get? The intro comes out of nowhere. There's a flanging that happens on the instruments, and it just kind of like bursts through the speakers. So it's a great one. If you have a song dying out, you can come in with this one right after it, and it's a really great effect. Joyce Manor. I've made no secret of loving this band, Joyce Manor, and I think I'll bring this one because I really like their cover of Video Killed the Radio Star on this album, so I'll bring this one. I'm going to bring my Bobby Ramone, Rocket to Kingston. This is, of course, a mashup of Bob Marley vocals with Ramone's music. It is just wonderful. Check out I Don't Want to Stand Up and Jamming Affairs off of this album. I profiled it in a previous episode, but it's a really, really fun record. I love the Hives. If I'm doing a rock set, I need to include some Hives. On this album, I love the entire album. I feel it's the Hives' best album, but I really love Two Timing Touch and Broken Bones. That's my jam off this. And on this one, it's Tick Tick Boom. Just such a great song. So I'm going to bring some Hives and rock it out. Empire, you know my love of Empire. Empire was born of the ashes of Generation X. The guitarist Bob Durwood Andrews. Really, really good post-punk album. Speaking of which, then I can go into B-Movie Nowhere Girl, which is a great kind of dour post-punk / new wave song. And from there I can go back into a new wave set with, say, Pete Shelley, Homo Sapien, which is my favorite Pete Shelley solo track. I can also get some more Psychedelic Furs. You can never have too much Psych Furs. This has Pretty in Pink in it, but I also love Into You Like a Train. You know, I always like to get the fall in there if I can, and I so seldom get a chance. But this single, New Big Prince, from I Am Curious Orange, I really love. It's one of their most dance-friendly tracks, and it goes well in a new wave set, so I'm going to bring that. If you don't know New Big Prince, it is one of the most accessible of all the fall tracks. In my head now, I'm playing that song, Check the Record, and trying to see what would go well after that. I think Personal Jesus will go great after that. I don't plan these out, and like when I take out my records when I get to the club, I mix them all up anyway. But just I like knowing that certain things go with other things. The Smiths, Hatful of Hollow, one of my favorite Smiths collections. I love Handsome Devil off of this. I like playing that. I love playing What Difference Does It Make? Johnny starts off playing this circular guitar pattern, and then the rhythm section comes in. And just, it's like a bomb going off at that point, and it's so heavy. I just love it. And it's a good way to get right back into rock. Speaking of which, In the City and All Mod Cons are two of my favorite albums by The Jam. I think they'll go really well if I'm getting back into guitar stuff. Echo and the Bunnymen, Lips Like Sugar. It's one of my favorite singles that they ever did. I feel it's just one of their most fun tracks. And Songs to Learn and Sing. I always bring this because I'm always covered. I bought this years ago, before the vinyl resurgence, which is the bane of my existence, as you can tell from the 99-cent sticker. But it is invaluable. If you're a DJ, you just throw this in there and you're covered. You can always go to an Echo and the Bunnymen song. When in doubt, they blend between all genres so well. Yes, I will bring combat rock with me, but not for the reasons you might suppose. I very seldom play Rock the Casbah, which is Topper Hayden's masterpiece. I very seldom play Should I Stay or Should I Go. I absolutely love Adam Tan on this album. The guitar, like a car starting up kind of. Not even a mid-tempo rocker, it's like a sub-mid-tempo rocker. I also love Know Your Rights, Red Angel Dragnet, and Ghetto Defendant. I love Inoculated City too. This is a deeper album than most people think. Anyway, that's coming. We're getting down to it. We're getting down to it. Oh, come on. If you're bringing guitar rock, Social Distortion, Greatest Hits. I very seldom bring Greatest Hits albums with me, but for Social D, whose great songs span 30 or 40 years, I don't feel like bringing just one album with me covers me. This is a 2-album set, and this way I have stuff from their early, more punk, Posh Boy days through their later rockabilly revival, kind of roots rock era. The Go-Go's. Like I said, I'm spinning in LA. I want to pay tribute to LA bands. This whole damn album is great. Speaking of LA bands, Wall of Voodoo, Mexican Radio. I will probably bring the Call of the West album with me, which this is from, because it's a brilliant album and there's so many great songs on it. But I love this 12-inch version of Mexican Radio. Oh yeah, The Long Riders, State of Our Union. I love this album. The Long Riders were in that whole punk folk revival that went on. Anyway, there's a song on here, Looking for Lewis and Clark. It's one of my quintessential DJ set songs. If you hear that song, you're probably in a bar where I'm spinning. I just absolutely love it. Oh, we'll take a few more is what we're going to do. I'm bringing my Murder City Devils. I'm bringing 3 of these. Maybe I'll only bring a couple, but I really love the Murder City Devils. They are always the right band to play when you don't know what to play. I'll put them with the Hives. They have a lot of moods to them. They can go slow, they can go hard, they can go fast, they can go soft. So I like having them. And we're pretty full here, so I'm just going to bring one more. This was kind of, yes, this is Joe Walsh. It became a thing with me for years. It was kind of an inside joke that I would finish all my DJ sets with Life's Been Good by Joe Walsh. And I just thought it was like a fun, funny thing to do where you hear me spin all night, Television, Psychedelic Furs, you know, Ministry, and then at the end of the night I drop Joe Walsh on you. I think that's what the people are going to get. From my patrons, I have a bunch more records to show you, but for the rest of you, I hope you enjoyed packing records with me for a DJ set. If you would like to see the full episode, please join my Patreon at patreon.com/popculturegraveyard, or click above for more cool content.